Good morning from Moscow, everyone. It is Monday, May the 18th, and this morning the Russian papers discuss this weekend's large-scale Ukrainian drone attack on Russia. The Russian government paper, Rossiyskaya Gazeta, writes, for the first time, Russian air defences shot down more than 1,000 Ukrainian drones in 24 hours. Kommersant, Russian regions came under one of the largest aerial attacks by Ukraine. Komsomolskaya Pravda's headline talks about the Ukrainian army's audacious attack on the Moscow region. There, according to Moskovsky Komsomolets, more than 130 drones were shot down. Residential buildings and infrastructure were damaged. There were fatalities. The paper has some photos of the damage, like a block of flats in Krasnogorsk on the edge of Moscow, struck by a drone. This house in Narofominsk district. A military analyst recommends striking the territory of the enemy, its bases, airfields, military production locations, including those abroad, and launch and storage areas. The more accurate the information we get about how drones are being brought to Ukraine, where they are unloaded, stored, launched from, the more often we can launch preventative strikes on these places, and the less often drones will hit our territory. Today's headline in Izvestia reflects the general sense that there is no end in sight to this conflict. Dark at the end of the tunnel. A political scientist tells the paper that a peaceful resolution is not in the interests of the Kiev regime. This is why any peace settlement will probably come about as a result of a successful advance by the Russian army and through fulfilling the military tasks of the special military operation. On the subject of peaceful resolution, a reminder here that in February 2022, it was Russia that launched the mass invasion of Ukraine, and so far Russia shows no sign of ending the war there. Nezavisime Gazeta reports that the decentralization of drone and ammunition manufacture complicates the Russian military's task. It's becoming increasingly difficult to completely cut off the flow of weaponry to the Ukrainian army. Defense production sites are spread throughout the country, and a significant portion of supplies comes from factories in Europe. Now, remember a few days ago, Vladimir Putin mentioned Gerhard Schröder, the former German Chancellor, as a possible mediator, European mediator, in the war. Well, this piece today, Moskovsky Komsomolets, admits that President Putin was trolling Europe when he suggested Gerhard Schröder in this role. The article reflects the official narrative here that Europe is not serious about peace in Ukraine. It's not peace they want, but Russia's capitulation. Although not the unconditional capitulation they sought a couple of years ago. Even so, it's peace from the position of strength, their strength. Believing their own propaganda, they are certain that the balance of forces has changed, and only on the battlefield can we convince them otherwise. An interesting article here in Nezavisime Gazeta, which suggests that Russia is not benefiting as much as you'd expect from the current high oil prices. The Russian budget has lost a portion of its revenue from high-priced oil. Where exactly does a significant portion of the federal budget's oil and gas revenues disappear to? Exchange prices for oil futures have held above $90 to $100 for more than 2 months. Buyers are paying even more for the actual delivery of each barrel. Nevertheless, oil and gas revenues flowing into the Russian treasury remain 38.3% below last year's level. The reason for the shortfall in oil tax revenues lies not only in the stronger ruble, but also in the specific mechanics of the additional income tax, which oil companies pay alongside the mineral extraction tax. Vladimir Putin is off to China this week. The Russian paper is already making comparisons with Donald Trump's visit there. The government paper states that the US and China are strategic rivals, Russia and China strategic partners. Although the article concedes that the positions of Russia and China are not identical, their interests do not always coincide. When it comes to practical implementation, friction exists and is inevitable. And inevitably, we end today with the joke section in Komsomolskaya Pravda and this conversation. My baby boy has started talking already. He says things like la 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 and give me. Well, with a vocabulary like that, he could already become an MP.